Step 13. On Despondency. As we have stated many times before, despondency is the first child and many times one of the offshoots of chattiness. Despondency is laxity of the soul, a slackening of the mind, a disregard of asceticism, disdain for one's oath. It is a blessing for those in the world. It charges God for being pitiless and devoid of concern for humanity. It is listless during psalmody, feeble in prayer, obstinately stuck on performing ministry, determined to do manual work, apathetic to obedience. The one who is subject to obedience does not understand despondency. Rather, he accomplishes spiritual tasks by sensory ones. Despondency is at odds with communal life. However, she is a close, ever-present friend of the hermit. She will never depart from him until his departure, and struggles with him every day until his end. She smiles when she sees a hermit's cell. She sneaks up and settles close by. In the morning, a physician will visit patients, but despondency drops in around noon. Despondency is an excuse for being hospitable. She asserts that through manual work, charity could be distributed, and she insists that we earnestly call upon the sick, bringing to mind him who said, "I was sick and you visited me." She gives us the idea to depart and visit those in despair and the faint-hearted, and brings one faint-hearted man to be the solace of another. She reminds those who are caught up in prayer of their required chores. And, cruel as she is, she provides every possible excuse to pull us away from our prayer, as with a bridle. At the third hour, the demon of despondency creates trembling, migraines, and even weeping. At the ninth hour, the ailing one strengthens himself. And when the meal is ready, he hops out of bed. But at the time of prayer, again, his body becomes weak. He starts to pray, but he is overcome with sleep, and rips up his petitions with ill-timed yawning. For each passion there is a corresponding virtue which can destroy it. However, despondency is generally the death of the monk. A brave soul revives his expiring mind, but despondency and laziness fritter away all its wealth. Seeing that despondency is one of the principal 8 vices, and perhaps its most severe, let us reckon it with the other vices. However, let us put forth this: when there is no singing of psalms, then despondency does not show its face. And when the hourly office is complete, the eyelids open up. The spiritually forceful ones shine forth during the time of despondency, for it produces a multitude of crowns for the monk struggling with it. Look, and you will see that if you stand up on your feet, despondency will struggle with you. But if you remain seated, it will advise you to recline and then to rest against the wall of your cell. Then it induces you to look out the window, by making various noises and footsteps. He who laments knows nothing of despondency. Let this oppressor be chained up by the remembrance of your shortcomings. Let us attack him by means of manual work. May he be dragged to the tribunal by the remembrance of the coming blessings, and let him be strictly examined when he is set before the court. Reveal to me, you spineless wandering fool, who gave birth to you. What are your children? Who are your enemies? Who will bring you to ruin? And despondency under coercion may be imagined to answer, with those that are sincerely under obedience, I have nowhere to abide. But with those who provide a dwelling place for me, I reside quietly. I have a multitude of mothers, sometimes indifference of the soul, sometimes neglect of heavenly things, at times undue difficulties. My children who dwell with me are wandering, disobedience to one's director, forgetting the eventual judgment, and at times raining on my oath. My enemies, who have now chained me, are singing psalms and manual work. My opponent is the remembrance of death. Prayer with an expectation of coming blessings is my complete destruction. Who begat prayer? Ask her. This is the 13th triumph. The one who has truly achieved it has become skilled in goodness.